Welcome to Not Strong.
This is a podcast for men about real challenges and real growth.
Life can hit hard. What do you do when the things you've always relied upon quit working?
When the way you've always handled things just isn't enough.
When your physical, mental, and spiritual strength are put to the test?
Do you push through, hold on even tighter?
Or have you learned how to surrender? And what does that look like?
We're here to explore the human spirit with you and share what it takes to press forward through life's greatest challenges.
To tap into something bigger than ourselves and live a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life.
Join us on the Not Strong journey.
Welcome to Not Strong. My name is Kurtis Loftus.
And I'm Tim Hamby.
I'm Aric Berquist.
Not Strong, empowering the human spirit. This is going to be fun. We've got a guest today. And today's episode is on blessings.
Yeah, what is a blessing?
What is a blessing? And I think we've got the perfect guest.
Yeah. Eric's got a great story. Eric and I have known each other for a long time. Eric works in media like us, and Eric goes to my church. He's a worship leader at another church that we planted, and I've known his family. And an interesting thing, there's a dynamic here on this podcast. Kurtis and I have a lot in common, both creative directors, both like to surf.
We got to get you surfing, by the way.
Yeah. Both have two daughters, both with names that begin with the letter K. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then we learned that, my wife, Gretchen, and his wife, Margaret, their names are the same. They mean the same thing. They translate.
Yeah.
Margaret is Gretchen.
How about the weddings?
Yeah.
How about the weddings? We got the 13th. You got the 13th with wedding anniversary.
Married on the 13th.
I'm the 31st, so it's kind of...
Oh, you flipped it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, a little palindrome. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that way. But I was going to say, yeah, his wife is named Gretchen as well. So, and your kids, you have 4 kids,
Yes.
and not named with the letter K, but all with the letter A.
Oh, with that letter A. Exactly.
How about handling a prayer for us, Tim?
Sure. Yeah. Lord, we thank you for this time together. Get together with friends and people all over who may be watching, and we just thank you for this time, and we pray that you open hearts and minds to the words that we're going to discuss today, and that you would bless everyone who hears this podcast or watches it. In your name, we pray. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
For sure. Eric, how about some background?
Oh, gosh. Well, yes. So as Tim said, I'm in media, been in digital media and then transferred over to more like distribution of like films and TV and that sort of thing and albums, which has been a lot of fun.
How long have you been doing that? Sorry for
Gosh, so I've been in digital media since 2006. Started with a live music platform, which I just absolutely loved. And then it kind of transitioned in distributing network content, like short form versions of that. Mm-hmm. And then we started selling advertising into that and distributing it to all the online newspapers. And then it just kind of gradually progressed into what I do now. But I love the space. And I'm sure we will bump into each other inside of it for sure.
Yeah, and Eric's a talented musician, great singer, guitarist, worship director.
That's very good.
So always love it when you come back to our church and perform.
Very
a lot
good.
of fun.
And you have a story. Tim's very familiar with it, and I'm grateful to be able to sit and hear this story again.
Sure.
I got a little bit of it when we all gathered. When did we meet? When did we get together
Probably
and talk about this?
3 or 4 weeks ago.
It's
yeah.
been probably a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been planning to do this and have someone else help us with this whole spirituality and what's happening in our lives as older men. I mean, this is targeting men. Women, I'm sure, are listening and learning, and that's great. But the goal has been dig into some of these spaces that are our spirituality and how we can use it to help grow, to help ensure that we're not finding ourselves in places where physically or emotionally we've used all those tools and found ourselves stopping and because we've worn them out. And you have a story, and we'd love to hear that story and know what you did in the midst of some of the struggles or maybe the things that were really waiting on God and he showed up.
Sure. No, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's definitely an ongoing story, but I can kind of go back to the beginning part of kind of a moment, like a crucible moment, really. And it's interesting. I think even before I do that, I'll give you a little bit of background. So at this point, for what I'm about to tell you, I've been married for about 13 years to my wife, Gretchen, as Tim said, who I just love. We had 3 children at that time, Abby, Andrew, and Adam. Just super close family, tight-knit. And we've been through a lot of familial loss, like over the 13 years of it, like sad, hard stuff to walk through. And then on top of that, I'm an entrepreneur. I think I've heard you guys talk about it too. Like, there's nothing linear about being an entrepreneur. Like, there's
we both know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had some really tough financial times, and all of that was kind of happening at the same time.
I'm going to ask you this. I know I'm
Yes.
jumping, and this happens, but your faith is Christian. Your
Absolutely.
The direction has always been oriented towards Jesus.
Yes.
So we're just going to be clear on that.
Yes.
And because that's where we lean a lot of times, but we also recognize there's faiths and people that are listening in and
Right.
they're not quite sure. So as long as we balance it with, this is your story. Eric's got a pretty deep Christian sort of orientation, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll definitely
Yeah.
talk about that because that's literally,
Okay.
I mean, that's been a beautiful growth for me. And I don't know where I am in the line. I'm sure there's a lot more to go, but yeah. So I was driving at this point. So at this point, my career was starting to kind of take off a little bit, and we were kind of at a more steady beat. Like, things were good. Kids were great. Marriage was great. Just driving home. We had our 4th child coming, which would have been, it's going to be about between 2 and 3 years younger than our last child, like Adam, who was our 3rd child.
What year is this?
So this is like 2010.
Okay.
Driving home, and Gretchen called, and it's interesting because I drove on the same bridge to get to this studio here, that I'm going to be talking about the story right now. So I started coming over this bridge. You guys know the Nocatee to Ponte Vedra to Nocatee Bridge. So you know it's not long. And everything I'm about to say is going to sound like it took like 10 minutes, but it was that period. So she's telling me, hey, I just heard from the doctor, our 4th child's going to have Down syndrome. And she kind of broke out in tears. And I was about to be home. I was probably 10 minutes from home at that point. So it's like, well, listen, I'll be right there. Like, let me hang up and I'll be home very soon. So I hung up the phone and literally like just felt this wash of sadness come over me. Cause it's like these dreams for this 4th child, these dreams for where our family was going, and all these things I'd projected, like, usually just felt that start to die. Like, that was over. Like, that was clearly not going to be happening. And so I had the sadness hit.
That's
and
a
then,
lot.
Yeah, well, it was a lot at the time. And I'm learning now so much of it. It was a real pain, but a lot of it was just out of just being naive to this too. Mm-hmm. But so heading up the bridge, and my sadness turns to fear, to anger. I mean, it just kind of ticked off, right? And so I'm almost at the top of the bridge, and I start to cuss. I won't say the word I was saying out loud because I don't want to put an E on your podcast for explicit, but I'm in the middle of saying this word out loud, just truly just like that's how I feel. And in the middle of that, I just hear or feel, I can't even describe it, but this voice say, who are you to tell me what a blessing is? And it was so strong, like my arms are standing up again now, just thinking about it. It was so strong, but also like so kind and tender and loving that I literally felt my arms were going to like pop off, like it hurt. And so
That's wild.
yeah, I started coming down the other side.
And by the way, I'm going to just say it now. That bridge is short.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
It's a short bridge.
Yes, that's what always, because I drive over that bridge a lot. And so I think about this a lot because I can walk through the thoughts and where they were happening, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I did have, just a quick pause. I had an experience like this when I was playing football in Minnesota too. It was our spring game, and I was diving for an interception, and I literally watched the ball move like, and a college spiral is whipping. And I was reading everything on the ball. Yeah. I was looking at everything, no sound. Felt like I dove like a million miles to catch it. And once I watched it on film, it was the most boring, simple play ever. But it's just, anyway, it kind of reminds me of the bridge thing. Because I don't know how that all fit in there.
I get it.
So anyway, driving down, and I would love to tell you after I heard that voice that it was just like, okay, I'm gathering myself and I'm just going to do this now. But there was a lot of difficulty connecting my dreams for this family, where we have been, everything I knew. I knew how to raise 3 kids, and I love my kids, and I how to take care of my wife, how to connect that to this new future. And so I just was dealing with that. And a part of, that was me really sitting down and starting to be like, all right, God's either real or he's not real. And I already dealt with that. I became a believer in Jesus in the 1900s. So like I've had that, but I hadn't necessarily stepped fully into owning all that means and like what that means for me. And so I started kind of going through this process of like who am I? Like, and whose am I? And just this whole basically kind of my identity. And so just digging into the word a lot because I just was needing it. And I just started reading all these verses. I mean, it's like, hey, it's like, I'm jealous for you. I will never leave or forsake you. Like, I delight in you. I have given you a wide path for your feet to step so you won't slip. I'm leading you to broad spaces. I know your name. I've redeemed you. You're mine. I'm with you and you will never be overwhelmed. I mean, all of these things. And then the fact that from reading his word, he's obsessed with you. Like he's obsessed with me enough to die for me. And I just was starting to really own the fact that like, I'm not alone in this and there's something that's going to be used for this. And so that really kind of got me through a lot of all of the pieces. And then eventually like Asher was born. Like, you know, he was born on September 1st. And Gretchen and I laughed because September 1st, it was 9/11 because he was born on the subject. It was like 9/11, like the whole, like, it's like, hello. It just literally felt like it was such a gift. And it kind of, again, went back to who are you to tell me what a blessing is? And it just kind of began this journey. And it was interesting because as we were like starting to raise him, he had some serious heart problems. Like if you picture a heart, like like 4 chambers, you know, like the middle was basically not there. So everything was like mixing. So he had open heart, like bypass surgery very early on. And this is the beauty. This is where I started to see like my wife, who I already adored, like become like a superhero, like just unbelievable. And to see my children step up. But I started to have this realization watching these kids is like, yes, I'm your dad. And yes, I'm your husband. But like, you're God's kids, like, and Gretchen is God's daughter. And it just, I don't know why, like, it hit me then, but it's like, what a realization that, what an amazing role I've been put in. Like, I am their guide and their encouragement. I've been like made the head of the household of this family. And I've been put here to guide, like the whole Jeremiah 1:5 verse, like, I knew you before I knit you in the womb. Like, it just kind of really started to hit me that this is a huge responsibility. Like, I need to encourage them and lead them and guide them. And so it was so important for me to dig in. And I think with that, like I started to notice with Asher early on, Asher really taught me this mantra that I have adopted now. It's 3 things. The first one's presence, which he 100% taught me. And that's basically like breathing the air where you currently are sitting and standing. Like that's your life. Like that's where you can make an impact on things. And then the second piece is occupy your space. And that's basically being your unique self, like God's creation in that space. And it's interesting, like I reach my arm, like I have a 6, feet space I can touch, like, and that's my life circle. And that's where I can affect change. And I was reading this thing, was talking about, I love reading about the brain and the body.
Me too.
Like your heart can project and be felt up to 8 to 12 feet away from you, which is wild when you think about it. Mm-hmm. And so I just think about that now too, with occupying your space. Like it's so important to be present and be yourself and to, affect all that area around. Like I want to change the temperature of rooms when I come in them because I want people to feel like this paradigm, this like Jesus, like the kingdom of heaven has come to earth, like through what Christ has done. And we are changed people. And I want people to feel that.
Sure.
So he helped get me there with that. And then also, like, finally, like inside of your circle is just to make beautiful things. Like that's in conversations, it's at work, it's writing music, right? Just writing in general, whatever you're doing, like you can make beautiful things inside that. So that was just something I really took away from his life and what he's brought to our family. And it's been interesting because now going back to that, who are you to tell me what a blessing moment is?
Right.
I look at things. It's like, I'm just not as scared or fearful anymore. It's made me live different. Like I'm more hesitant to pray out of circumstances because I don't know what God's doing. Like, I don't know what he's doing. And who am I to try and cut off what he's doing now to get from A to B? So just that whole process to me was just a beautiful growth and that I needed inside of myself, and continue to do so.
So I'm going to take us back to when you found out what was going on in your head with your soon-to-be son, right? And how your feelings were, your emotions were.
Yeah.
Because one of the challenges we all have is our emotions kind of overriding what might be our spiritual sort of sensibility.
Yes.
What occurred to me studying a little bit about this is you tend to get very kind of lonely in that fear.
Yes.
It's like what most of us would do is pull away, draw back, isolate.
Yeah.
Like we don't, especially men, I don't think, we don't go, oh gosh, I am going to have to talk this thing over and talk it out with Gretchen or Margaret and I. And what I would end up doing first in my reacting to a problem is I'd be like, oh, why is this coming on me? And from a worldly standpoint, I don't have it's like I go right to what would be a worldly response.
Yeah.
Like a human response.
100%.
Versus even, God help me, get out of myself.
Yes.
And be willing to like be the man that that you wanted to become in that place. What did you learn? What was that?
Well, first of all, I just so resonate with everything you just said, because in that bridge moment, I mean, my first reaction was a cuss word.
Yeah.
It was sadness, fear, and anger. And I had to land a lot of those planes, and that it all comes back to what helped me was just being like and who my identity was. And I didn't learn these two. I've learned these since, but basically inside of that, I was sort of doing it without knowing it. Is like asking, God, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? And that's going back into the scriptures too. Like when you read like Psalm 23, like the Lord is my shepherd, which is like, he's with me, he's leading. And it goes on to say, basically, I have everything I need, or I have no lack, depending on what translation you're reading. And that, yes, you're going to lead me to still water. Yes, you're going to lead me to green pastures, but yes, you're going to lead me through the valley of the shadow of death. And all of these things, I just started to be able to resonate with these and understand them slowly. I want to make sure I'm very clear that this was not a bridge moment next morning.
Right.
Like it was definitely a process. I learned something, and this is actually fascinating. I've learned something since then that you guys will totally get. It's like, have you heard of the reticular activating system? It's basically like a neural network in your brainstem, and it's processing 11 million bits of information per second as it's coming in. And I'm going somewhere. It sounds like I've left the rails, but
no, I'm right with you. We are talking same.
So 10 million per second are coming in through your sight. 1 million is coming in through touch. 100,000 through hearing. 100,000 through smell. And 1,000 through taste. Right. So that's your 11 plus million per second. But here's the crazy part: it's only going to process 50 to 120. So it's going to wipe out all like millions and millions of information, because it's trying to align with where your head is.
Sure.
And it bases that on what's new, like what you value, which comes back to the scripture. Like what are you valuing? Because I'm going to help focus on those. Yeah. And then threats, and speaking to your triggered thing, like it started when you're triggered, a threat wipes out the new and the values. Like now it's only looking, because it's trying to protect you for the stuff that's threatening, you're afraid of. And it was nice to see that cycle out and cycle more back to, yes, this is new. So it's focusing on that, like with this new situation with Asher, but also all the things that I value. And so that's where your mind and your body starts to see all these things. And life gets pretty beautiful. Like I will say, like it really does. Like there's definitely moments I felt alone. I feel very blessed, because our family was close, and just the way our children and Gretchen stepped into this, we were there for each other. We had a lot of communication.
Perfect.
It was interesting because with Down syndrome and a lot of other, I hate even call it disabilities, because after having him, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like we have the disabilities sometimes.
Yeah.
But he, the spectrum is wide. So if you started to go down rabbit holes of research, you could make yourself freaked out or crazy. And I feel like we did a nice job of just being together and like, this is what we're going to do. And I had wonderful friends that were super helpful. And then, of course, the irony is you would talk to people that maybe weren't as close. I almost felt the most lonely when I was talking with people that didn't necessarily get it or weren't able to lean in and I'm saying it's like that was probably when I felt the most lonely, Because I would say like during the day, I was pouring into the Psalms and I was pouring into like prayer and just listening. And I honestly, I didn't feel alone.
Good.
I felt seen in a weird way.
No, that's feel like it's one of the things that should encourage someone through this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Is when you brought the blessings topic, it was like we kind of started with sadness. You and I were going to talk, how do you move through sadness, correct? And then we realized, well, is that the right way to position this? This isn't. These are blessings. We just flip them on their side or on their ends and go, we're going to call it sadness.
Right.
And that's a natural state.
Sure.
And that's where we were going to start this whole conversation, right? But it's, I mean, did we address sadness with this particular podcast, Tim? Do we go there a little bit? What that means, what it looks like?
Well, yeah, we are.
Well, but it's so crazy, isn't it? That we're sitting here. I've been inspired this whole time, right? I have yet to feel like sad for you. You know, I have a sympathy. None of that's coming on me right now because I know how you move through this and how you are encouraged by your faith and by the family and just, man, things showing up like from darkness or whatever you might have called it to light. And it's just like, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And maybe it's not the sadness that we should be focused on, but we should at least understand it.
Yes.
You know?
I think a lot of it comes back to kind of like I was saying before, like with the being, like when we understand who we are and whose we are, and then we can lean into scripture knowing that, like it's unbelievable to think about the creator of everything being obsessed with you. That's hard to get your arms around. That he, in a loving way, he's like, I'm going to die for you. Like, I'm coming here to do that because I want to make us whole and back together. And then you start pouring through the Psalms and all the different ways he's just continuing to like basically tell you, I'm for you. Like, I am giving you wide places for your feet to step. Like, I know you're not, call you by name. You're redeemed. You're mine. Like, you will not be overwhelmed. That doesn't mean we're going to not have scary views or scary times or things we're walking through, but then it goes back to like that Psalm 23 of like, I'm your shepherd. Like, I'm with you. Like, I will beat the lions and the bears away and you have no lack because I am with you and I'm going to set a table before your enemies and your cup's going to overfloweth. You know, like, and I just feel like that kind of cycles through life. But that was, I'm sad to say I needed something really, really hard for me to dig into that so I could accept that and kind of see where that all went. And it's been beautiful. Like, I'll look at myself now and I'll give you one quick example because this is beautiful. But so fast forward and Asher's 8 or 9, somewhere in that ballpark, I think 8. And we were at a football game. One of my biggest fears is when we stepped into all this is Adam was 2, right? When we found out about Asher was going to be coming. And I just wanted him to have the childhood Abby and Andrew had. And I was so fearful it was going to go away because he was special to me. And at this, earlier in his life, work was really hard. So I was home a lot. We had to have lunch together a lot, and we just had the sweetest times. I just wanted him to have all that. So a big fear of mine was, okay, he's not going to get his childhood the other kids got. And so fast forward to this football game, Adam's probably 10, Asher's 8-ish, some that ballpark. August, it's so hot. It's Florida. I can't even tell you. Like, I'm a Minnesota guy. Like, I was melting. But I was halftime and Adam's playing. Asher's there, greatest fan in the world. But he's there. Adam gets his fruit, the cold fruit they give him at halftime. The coach is done talking and he's way over there. He walks all the way around this fenced area. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you don't have time. Like, where are you going? Comes all the way over, hands his fruit to Asher. He's like, he just looks hot. I want to make sure like he's good and has food. And it just was beautiful. Like, I'm just watching my kids like get to showcase themselves in a way you wouldn't get to showcase if everything was smooth. Like,
sure.
It was just beautiful. And I just feel like I've seen them all do that in their own way. That's just something that's, really firm in my head. And like seeing Gretchen do the stuff she's done, it's just been beautiful. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, I'm just not that afraid of scary stuff anymore because, and I'm also not like needing to pray myself out of those situations. Like we've been in some recently. It's like, I don't need my timelines to work because my timelines are pretty flawed. Like I've learned my timelines add a whole lot of stress and they're usually not right. So, and to be able to strip those away has been really helpful for me.
Tim, you've been through a tough experience recently that has to do with some sadness and We both have been sharing back and forth over the last couple of weeks. Your recent experiences and mine. So I'd love you to kind of do a little conversation about that.
Yeah. So mine involves the passing of a good friend who he passed this week, this last Wednesday, of colon cancer. And we were friends probably since fifth grade or so. And his wife had left him in December of this year, and he was fighting it back then. He had been through one round of cancer and had beat it. She was with him at that point, and he was in remission for 2 years, and then it came back. I don't think that he realized that when it came back in a couple of different places, his lungs and his leg. And he didn't associate it first showing up in his leg. He thought it was an athletic injury or something. He kind of just brushed it off. Didn't go to the doctor to get checked out, but it was the cancer coming back. And I think he went through treatment and got chemo. Didn't work. Went through radiation. Worked a little bit, but ultimately not. And he finally had to come to accept that this was in the cards for him. And so because he was by himself at that point, myself and 3 or 4 of his other childhood buddies and his brother and his father kind of jumped in to help him out. Lives down here in South Ponte Vedra. And so just the whole experience of watching him suffer and basically waste away, and having to come to grips with it. That's what I've been going through, and it was actually I think that all of us, all of his friends group and his family, we're happy once he passed to see him not be suffering anymore. So yeah, that was hard, and it was definitely. I'm usually a really cheerful, really optimistic, really upbeat person. It's hard to get me down, but yeah, it's definitely it was pulling on me for the last weeks. And a lot of people I know probably probably mentally associated. Well, Tim's got cancer and Tim's in remission. He's a
Right.
year and a half into remission, and and he's probably thinking oh my gosh, here's what's coming down the road, and that's not at all because I don't believe that I'm in that same boat. I got a message too, which I talked about on the show, where I felt like God was giving me some assurance, saying things are going to be okay. And they were very bleak for me last year, and they are okay now, and I expect them to continue to be okay for a long time. So that part of it hasn't been on me at all. It's totally been saying goodbye to a friend and watching him suffer. But through that, it just like last year, the whole cancer experience, which I feel like it's made me stronger. It's made me stronger, spiritually, pray more, accept more of whatever God's plan for my life is. I definitely, had a vision and again, he assured me that things were going to be okay. So that was my mindset going through, the process of healing, and, it has ended up that way. I'm recovered not just from stage 4 cancer, but also stage 4 kidney failure, both. And and I'm just learning to lean on others, and not I can't fix everything myself,
Right.
with my own positive mindset, and really relying on friends. Thank God for my wife and my church and all the prayers that came from everywhere. All kinds of people stepped up in every sort of way you can imagine. And so that learning and through Danny's, my friend Danny's experience here recently, again, seeing the importance of the relationships of the community around you, you know, in this case, it was friends, you know, his father, his brother. You know, if you're blessed to have a partner like I did last year, and you know, it just honestly seemed like God was working through Gretchen in my case. But just to have friends that can step in, you can lean upon, and you know, he had a good group of friends, strong Christian guys, and we were constantly wasn't just about supporting Danny. So it was about supporting one another. And, you know, we would send each other verses and check in on each other and different things. And even today, this is something that one of the guys sent me. You know, you turn to God and you turn to the Bible and different verses and stuff, and you find answers. And, you know, we've talked about it before. It's the answer book. It's got everything in there. And so this, you know, the thing that was bothering me so much with, you know, seeing my friend just, you know, deteriorate in front of my eyes. And a friend sent a verse. I can't even read it. I'll have to ask you to read the verse. Do it. But you know, he sent this verse, and it's right here, and it's just so reassuring.
Corinthians, correct?
Yeah, Corinthians. Yeah.
So this is 4:16 through 18.
Yeah.
So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light, momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal.
And that sums it up, and it's what we were, you know, it's what in my hard conversations with Danny, you know, that we talked about. It's what all of us, you know, knew and were expressing, you know, that you know, right now Danny's going through a form of healing. He's going through a healing process. And the Lord is with him. He's right beside him. He's going to take care of him. He's preparing him for life. You know, when he can, you know, when you really start living, when you're done with this world. And you know,
that's special.
Pain coming in, you know, life through childbirth, and there's pain leaving it, and. But we knew that he was going someplace great. Yeah. And then you get a verse like this, and it's, you know, it's just affirming that. And it's saying, you know, you're exactly right. That's the process he's going through. So, you know, that's the blessing that I've taken from it. And I think it has strengthened, you know, the ripple effect, you know, going through all his friends. And he's got a big friend group, popular guy in high school. And, you know, it's just
beautiful, man.
All of us tighter.
Sent me a photo of him when I got a chance to see that photo. How long ago was that taken? Probably in his early 40s, maybe late 30s?
I'd say 30s.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
That photo to him summed up his life. Sure. And so Kurtis is a talented illustrator. And we did a drawing from it that I love doing those kind of just keepsakes, a special moment, a thing that you can remember, the family can remember, moments. Yeah. And so instead of someone having a photo and framing it, I try to execute an illustrative story, make it a little bit story. And his brother's going to love that. Good. So. Can I? And then you've got your own story. Let's talk about that.
And then we'll make the full circle. We'll come all the way back around, and I'll try to keep it short. I love where we're going with this, because what's happening is it's reaffirming some things with me. And my sorrow, if you want to call it sorrow, it's not. But it's an emotion that I've been, you know, walking with, that I get, you know, and it's with my mom, who's in dementia. And I would say final stages. I mean, if you have stages, I don't know enough. I haven't studied enough. I'm just watching her. And we're in what is the fourth year of her really kind of going downhill.
Yeah.
And the disease is such that I don't know how much longer, but it's not a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm with her, and the family's moved, we got there's 4 children, 2 older sisters, a younger brother. We intentionally have her in Palm Coast near enough. I'm the furthest away. I'm the busiest person, unfortunately, so my time gets limited. But I'm trying to be deliberate in my time and get down to see her as much as I can right now. And when I'm going down there, I'm visiting what is a mother I still remember in her prime, right? So she's a very bright lady. She's got, she was careful, cautious. She had all things put in the right order. She didn't show her emotions unless necessary. Beautiful lady, right? So when I go down to see her, I'm visiting someone that's radically different than that woman that, she's in her 80s, 87 now, going to be 87 in this next month. For, I'd say 70 years of her life, knew exactly who she was. The last 16, changing, radically changing. And you talk brains and, what the brain is doing and how it's working and what it looks like when it comes to a person that's confused and scared and, now can't put together really good sentences, is hallucinatory, dementia's tough.
Yeah.
So all I do when I go down is I'm going to hold her hand. I'm going to give her as much peace and as much sense of love as I can, sitting side, across. Like here's the point. It's so radically different than I had prior to this person that is now a new person. It's kind of like she's a radically different person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love her and really desire to see her at more peace and have more contentment than I've probably ever imagined. This is intimate. Like this is an intimate relationship with my mother that I probably wouldn't have had unless this came on.
Mm-hmm.
And unless I was ready to be with her in that manner, which was all you can give her is love, peace, some moments of like just, I guess I want to say safety or where she feels comfortable, and dude, it's so simple.
That's beautiful.
It's so crazy, simple, beautiful. But the Kurtis from 15 years ago would have never had an opportunity to pull any of that off. Really, pride, ego was still holding me in a place that I just couldn't probably give that kind of love and attention, that kind of unselfish. I'm literally there just this, I hope, God, we can make my mom comfortable. Mm-hmm. And that's all I cared about, and that's a different man. The cancer that came on me, just a year ago, I'm going to be celebrating a year. This thing was September last year when I found out. It was stage 3 prostate cancer, and it was a lot of it. And I had to go to my kids and say, I don't know. I really don't know what's in front of me. I mean, has it metastasized? Where's it at? What are the treatments going to look like? How long a life do I have? I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
And my 2 girls are like, what? Not you. You're K-Paw. You're the guy that does marathons and the guy that, endurance athlete. Now I don't know. But the thing that was hitting me at the time was I can't be a hypocrite. I mean, I can't all of a sudden run and hide and get angry and start yelling and, going, why me? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's all that stuff because you're preparing yourself. I think that's what we get to do as men as we get older. We still get a chance to prepare and still dive into the word and still practice things and learn things and help other men see things, right? Through our own actions. And so my goal with my children was, hey, it'll be good. It'll be all right. I mean, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my treatments. I'm going to, it's all that stuff. And we'll just see where this goes because that's what we have.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed anything. It's really interesting. Before today's get together, I was like, every once in a while, this hits me. Like, it's like this life and how pleasure should come about or what we should expect. It's an unmerited existence that we have. we should understand it that way,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't merit anything, really. I'm here to serve God and to love him and love my family, love my friends like I love him, right? And that's what's asked.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to gain a bunch of, the bells and whistles and all the perks. That's not the point of this journey, right?
Yeah.
So all of this is to say, even the sadness right now, or if it's not sadness, it's this time where you're going. What I looked up, Tim, because it's funny you were saying Psalms, and I'm going to jump back to the Psalms because that's kind of what hits in lament and loneliness. It's like, turn to me. This is Psalms 25, 16, 17. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distresses. Psalms 38, 11 is, my friends and companions stand aloof from my plague, and my nearest kin stands far off. So these are things that I was asking about, how this happens in our lives and where we think we are as we enter into what is a place that feels, it might be sad or lonely, and it feels like it's got us.
Yeah.
And it's got a hold of us, right?
Yeah.
And Job is the same kind of stuff, right? The world would have us react, and how sometimes the world reacts, and then how we might react as believers that has, all of the scriptural backstory, and certainly Christ alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There it is. There's the perfect example, like we said a week ago.
Yeah.
It's like, he's everything.
Yep.
That's the example.
I can so relate when you were talking about the selfishness part and how what you've walked through is help eradicate that, because I totally was there, and it was pretty beautiful how when you press into God, how like just gets washed away. Because you just realize how good he is, how real he is. Like, and you watch that stuff just get washed off.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Yeah,
I totally relate to that.
It starts to soften you. It starts to open you. You're like, whoa, I'm not as restless. I mean, I still get restless. Don't get me wrong, but man, I love going to scripture now. And I love, going to wisdom of other men that have studied and spent years understanding and grappling and wrestling with, things that are troubling.
Yep.
And it's understanding, that it's not on your timeline.
Right.
That there is a plan. The plan works for the good of the greater, and not just you. And there's things that, because we're not God, we can't understand. We don't have necessarily the foresight or the vision or the knowledge of how it all works. How it all is going to come together. For our benefit. Or the benefit of people around us, or all those things. And I think it's important, to have that perspective. And definitely as you get older and you go through different things, if it's, with children, or with health or with career, and you go through these moments and stuff, it really, it humbles you, and it strips away, I guess a lot of the worldly things that men wear, and things like, being more intimate, and, being, more ready to rely on other people and not just yourself.
Yeah.
and all those things that they're all a part of this. When you go through these kinds of challenges, and being able to draw upon that to understand, that, and that, there may be blessings hidden in this, or there's gonna be.
I feel like through my experiences, and I wonder if you guys feel the same, that I started to realize there's confusion between trials and blessings, and that sometimes what seems like a trial is completely a blessing.
That's
And
that's a great point.
sometimes what feels like a blessing is actually going to be tough, because you're going to be tempted with all sorts. So I feel like everything you guys have just said, it's really, like I was saying earlier, it's made me very slow to try and pray out of anything, because I don't know what he's doing. And like you're saying, like there's billions of lives happening not just ours. And he is plugged into all of that. Like he's omniscient,
Yeah.
he's omniscient and omnipotent. Those are hard words for someone who talks fast to say, but like he's everywhere, and it's just beautiful. So it's interesting. I just felt for a while that the trials and blessing, it's easy to flip them. Like or just not know.
Yeah, no, I thought, I think that's insightful that it can go both ways, and that what you might initially expect is a blessing is going to come with a lot of challenges sometimes. I hadn't thought about that, but it works that way as well.
I have a sort of what would be a summary of some of this as well. So, and this is from research, and you pull together some things, and then all of a sudden you're reading something that was maybe not biblical, but it still makes practical sense. Unease and disease strip us down to dependence, and in that humility, God reveals his heart. Right? So acceptance opens space for intimacy. What feels like loss often becomes the soil of deeper knowing, because God's greatest desire is not that we live without struggle, but that we live with him in it. So again, it's like, I know people do not like struggle. They don't like pain. They don't want to suffer. Yeah. No one is happy when it's coming at them. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? But you are much more intentional in your prayer when you're like, I go down to visit my mother, and this is literally what I do. I get in the car. I have an hour in the car, and that I'm meditating and I'm in preparation for the visit. So I have an hour to sort of settle my heart and get my head right and just be there and available. Yeah. And then I get there, and if there's some quirky thing going on, like she might be in a place where she's lost and hallucinating and things are really tough, right? I mean, you're like, wow, here we are. You could get selfish and go, well, I wanted time with mom, and now I have this. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, I'm already ready for that. Yeah. And I go, wow, here we go, mom. And I get into that environment where all I can do is be that comfort, right? And so you just settle in, and you find that gaze that you think is not that big of a deal, those eyeballs, that window to the soul, it's huge. Absolutely. It's huge. She will literally find me, like, as we look at each other, and I know she finds me, and then she smiles. And dude, when I have breakthroughs like that with my mom, it's freaking rich. That's incredible. It's rich. It's beautiful. And that only comes again through surrender and willingness and saying, what's going to happen? Yeah. Well, that, like, with the meditation point, that's kind of the whole, like, when you get there, like that whole paradigm, like you're letting the kingdom of heaven come with you. Like you are at peace and you are available for her. And that's what amazing. Other way would you want to enter into something like that? And to your initial point, the thing that it reminds me of is that, God is not always going to, walk you out of it. He's going to walk you through it. He's going to be with you. He's not going to remove you from the situation. But he's going to be there with you to. Now, how about that? Yeah. Now you're with God in a bigger way. Yeah. I've had this like sense that when you deal with pain, like if you try and like numb yourself or avoid it, like I used to do that. I did too. You're literally getting further and further away of who God created you to be. Because I just feel like pain and joy are like your guides home. Like those are like your navigational tools. And we need it. Like we need both, sadly. We call it blocking the sunlight of the spirit. Yeah. That's where all the growth comes from. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We call that blocking the sunlight of the spirit. And, if we do that, then we've darkened just about everything else, and there's no chance. Well, it's just you decide what the results are good. Open yourself up, be willing, and God can actually do things beyond your own understanding. Like, whoa, I had no idea that was within me or that was even available to me. It's almost like, you could look at those types of situations as opportunities, and embrace them. That's what I've been trying to get the whole podcast. It's like, if I'm going to talk about anything, just it's going to be, oh my, I am so blessed to have these and I don't know how long it'll last, but every day that I'm with her is a joy. It really is. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And we talk about gratitude all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the strangest kind of thing to say, I'm grateful. And I know there are people that hear it and they be like, I don't understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, it's an honest, authentic gratitude.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And that was right. I feel like when we received the news about Asher, that was the shot across the bow, because I was sort of an autopilot and just in the sense that just kind of marching along, trying to provide, trying to do all these things. And this was more of we need to dig in, we need to do this together. And that's just kind of speaking to what you were just saying there. I think that is what's so beautiful about it all.
So while it is natural to pull away, it is supernatural, spirit-led to reach out. The very thing that feels hardest, letting others in, is often the channel God uses to bring his comfort and healing. Yeah. So
It sums it up nicely.
Mm-hmm.
you going to do more of these with us? we're gonna end up doing we'll rate his appearance.
Oh,
Yeah, the 36 subscribers
Right,
we have.
yes.
It's big time stuff.
Yeah,
Whether the audience wants you back.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Send Lee into counseling for like.
Okay. No, really. Anything else to add? Anything that you can leave? the
No,
audience
this was a pleasure. I mean, really glad we got to do this together.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you know what? We got something for Aric.
Yeah.
We do have something. Not strong tea.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Alrighty. Well, I think we're wrapping up. It's right here. This has been Not Strong. I'm Kurtis Loftus.
Tim Handy.
Aric Berquist.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.